Some people probably do.
3 people that do it. Shout out
Yeah,
to
the 3
all
people
of them.
that have a YouTube Red subscription that still watch the shows.
Shout out to the 3
I
people
pinned your
that
bank
think,
account.
dude, YouTube Red, I freaking love Scare PewDiePie. That's the show I want to pay.
It's really like the only good show on YouTube Red.
I'm gonna debate that, dude. Honestly, I've watched the first season and I'm like, wow. I think he did it on purpose. I think he got himself canceled on purpose, because like season 1 was pretty cringe. Hey, I'm Emilio.
Hey, I'm Rian.
And welcome to the Terminally Online Pen Pals podcast.
We're 2 friends that have only ever met through the internet.
Join us as we talk about our lives in this epic show.
And the show starts now. Actually, you might be.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Terminally Online Pen Pals podcast, the show where we recreate our favorite internet slop sounds for about 40 minutes. So sit tight.
That's pretty much all it is, guys.
Boy,
Welcome
yo,
back
yo,
to
yo,
another
yo,
episode of
Boy,
the
yo, 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 yo,
podcast.
boy,
Yeah.
boy, yo, yo, yo.
Oh, so
Boy,
this
yo,
is the
yo,
reason
yo,
why
yo,
people
yo,
stopped
yo.
watching it. They heard this for 40 minutes. And they're like, oh, I didn't realize I left my cricket noise.mp4 file on my computer. So I'm just hearing random noises. But welcome back to another episode of the podcast, guys. Ryan and Emilio back here once again. I do agree with Emilio's idea to do random noises for an entire episode, but I think we should just rip off more popular YouTubers and content creators and just say their catchphrases the whole time. So I'll start. What's up, guys? I'm PewDiePie. Welcome back to another episode
No,
of
Ryan,
Scare
don't say
PewDiePie.
PewDiePie's catchphrase. He's gonna
Oh,
say.
no.
Ryan said the N-word. I had to cut that out. That's
Oh,
actually
damn it,
PewDiePie's
no.
catchphrase. Woo!
Guys, if you donate to us on Ko-fi, you'll be able to hear the unedited extended version of this episode with all the edits Emilio makes. Not with me saying any bad words. Or
Right,
anything,
for
but you guys
$5,
get to see
Ryan
how
will
the-
say the N-word, guys.
No, I
It's
will
off.
never say that word for any amount of money. But if you want to hear me something that's false that Emilio has to edit out because we don't lie on this podcast, donate to the Ko-fi. For instance, I could say something like Emilio makes good content, and that'll get cut out because that's a lie. But if you guys donate on Ko-fi, you'll be able to hear me say it.
Anyways, Ryan, so it feels kind of weird to talk about what we did during the week, considering that the episode came out on Friday.
Just dropped today while we're recording. Yeah.
And we record
the
on
first time
Fridays, so we can't
I
really
think
talk
it's-
about it.
It's weird for those of you who missed it. We don't normally do this in the upload schedule, but at the time that we're recording this, the last episode that we dropped was where I recount a lot of my terrible romance experiences, including the time I was ditched at prom. And we recorded that episode the other
Ryan's
week. But
incel origin
there's
story.
my incel origin story. Well, whatever you want to call it, that
His
came
Joker
out.
origin
and-
story.
That just dropped today while we're recording this episode. So for the weekly recap portion of this, I guess we could both say, so we checked out that cool episode of the Terminally Online Pen Pals
Dude,
podcast.
that was a highlight
came
of
out
my
this week.
week.
It was really cool, guys.
It's a great episode.
Check it out. Absolutely.
All right.
Fantastic episode.
I mean, there's like some stories I didn't talk about from my week, because whenever there's an opportunity about Ryan talking about his love life, I know it's gonna make for great TikTok clips. So
Absolutely.
I gotta
Slash
shut up.
Instagram shorts. So
I gotta shut
make
up.
sure you follow the socials to see my heart get broken. So
And
for those of you who like to click on that.
So did you do anything interesting from? I guess we recorded last Saturday, so.
Yeah, so it's been a little bit, about a week since we last recorded. So outside of checking out that awesome episode from my favorite podcast, the Top Pod, I've been up to a few things throughout this week outside of the usual, like doing work and whatnot. I unfortunately, guys, have a house update, which I didn't talk about last episode. But I have
House
another.
update.
Yeah, 2025 is not a good streak for the house updates this year so far, guys. So please cue the intro. It's going to get a little depressing.
Sad house update. Instead of like the
Sad
guitars, it's
house
gonna be
update.
a violin, and the house is
So I got
gonna be
some
in
bad
black and white.
news. About good / bad news, guys, about the house update. So the back room that I've been talking about for a while, we finally have fixed. The wall has been replaced. We now have wood paneling and boards up on the wall of the room. Outside of some trim is officially done. So we have one project finished, and unfortunately, as me and my family, since we've been fixing up the house together, have discovered, there is a major issue that we need to fix. And it's the continuing dilapidation of the roof of the house, which unfortunately has sustained some pretty severe water damage, as I highlighted a few episodes back. As it turns out, the roof has gotten a lot worse. Not only has it extended a lot in the kitchen, but there are some upstairs rooms that have some very severe water damage to them, to the point where it's going to cost a lot of money to replace. It's currently unknown how much this is going to cost, but this is yet another major project that I'm going to have to work on for this house.
Have you considered just selling the house?
No, I actually like this house. Plus, I already have so much of my stuff moved in, so I
that's
don't
a good thing to clarify, because a lot of the times when I'm editing the show and there's like a house update, I'm like, why does he like? It sounds like he hates it at this point.
I actually like this house, believe it or not. I spend a good amount of time down there. It's just unfortunately this year it's been slow progress. We haven't had a lot of time, given it's been the winter months and we've been focused on a lot of other work. And then because of all the snow and everything, we've discovered some more issues with it, like holes in the roof where the water damage has happened. But regardless of these setbacks, guys, we've made some good progress, like finishing up the boards in the back room for the wall. We will get through this issue, eventually finish the bathroom, and then your boy will eventually be moved in. And the episodes of the Top Pod will look even better for the background. Outside of that, though, I didn't really get up to a ton outside of work and some general around the house stuff. Nothing too exciting. But what about you, Emilio? Did you get up to any fun, cool activities?
Boy, have I not. It's been a pretty boring week. At work, it was a sort of what I like to call a delivery week. So we have a project over the month, and it comes out on Sunday. So this week we just work out like the final details, more sort of the promotional side. So to get people to watch the project. So it was just kind of a boring week. Meetings.
Well,
it's interesting. I don't know. I'm not used to it because, well, just working independently, there is I mean, I should be used to it because I've been there for 3 years, but I'm starting to like sort of having a lot of filters to go through when it comes to upping the quality, but at the same time, there's a lot of fights over creative decisions, I feel like. So
as with a lot of things.
So yeah, but I enjoyed my job, and it was just a hectic week.
It's good to hear, buddy.
Running update. What? We also have running updates? Yeah, dude. I don't know if I've talked about this on the show. I feel like I haven't, but I signed up to run my first. I don't think
you have now.
I signed up to run my first 10K. So I'm training for that. Today.
Hold on, is that the amount of money you're going to earn for the podcast if you win the race? 10K?
You have to get, in an hour, you have to make $10,000. Otherwise, they kill you.
Whoa!
Today, I did 8 kilometers. So I'm getting there. I also broke my personal best. I ran 1 kilometer in 5 minutes and 8 seconds. So it felt pretty cool in the moment. Afterwards, I felt like I was dying. I did have to stop. Grandpa Lore dropped. Grandpa Lore is awesome, guys. I didn't talk about this in the last episode because, again, we had... It's like Grandpa Lore is down here and Rian Lore is up here. It's like...
Yeah, get the Ryan Lore in there. All the high school drama and breakups.
Ryan Lore is like the
Like
sort of
top tier content on this podcast.
CW teen soap opera thing, but it's the type of shit we all eat up. You know, we can all pretend that we're like really cool and watch Succession, but nah, man, we all like enjoy. We all enjoy our we've all watched Riverdale or The Secret Life of the American Teenager type shit. And, but yeah, I had lunch with my grandpa the other day.
Getting your family's background to find out some more dirt on like your family's history.
Sometimes I'll just drop random lore. In this occasion, my grandpa told us of the time a former mayor of our city confessed to crimes against humanity.
Oh my god!
Like, for context as well, my grandpa's he's a doctor. Or he was a doctor. He's retired now. But he told us that a long time ago there was this mayor. He owned a hotel. That building still exists today in my city, but it's a art school now. But back then, when he was my age, that was a school, and so there was apparently a market that was in that area, and at one point the market just caught on fire, and they started to investigate this mayor because they were like, well, you had a lot of complaints about how this flea market was affecting your business of the hotel, so it's kind of fishy, so we're gonna investigate you. But then the mayor said, actually, I have cancer, so I'm gonna go to the States to have this medical procedure.
Okay.
So that's why they didn't investigate him. So anyways, the mayor comes back, and my grandpa is his physician. So my grandpa's like doing tests on him, and he says, well, I'm feeling this way. And my grandpa says, well, that's normal because, you know, you had cancer. And the former mayor says, oh, I actually never had cancer. I faked it to get out of being investigated.
So he basically did to avoid extra, like, being charged for his crimes, basically.
Yeah. Like, whoa.
Wow. That's crazy there,
and my grandpa just, like, dropped it in the middle of the conversation. And we're like, my sister and I looked at each other and we're like, whoa, this story's crazy, dude.
Yeah, that's like a hidden conspiracy. I thought I had some interesting friggin' family lore, but I didn't know there was a hidden conspiracy with involving a mayor faking having cancer to avoid being charged for crimes. Oh, it's okay. I wanted to transition to something else I want to talk about here on the podcast that I find
the Shrek
kind of
5
interesting.
podcast? I mean, trailer? Why did I say
yes,
podcast?
What Emilio said. Now, there was something interesting I wanted to talk about that came out in recent news, and it's something Emilio, I think, would find interesting because between the two of us, the industry that he's involved in with social media, what he did in college involving his interest and passion in film and everything else, he might be able to relate to this. That's exactly what I was actually going to bring up. Guys, for those of you who didn't know, one of the biggest animated film series of all time, Shrek 5, has finally been revealed. Normally, this would have been great news for hardcore fans who've been waiting almost a decade for a new movie to come out. Here's the biggest problem, though. The animation style is controversial.
Yeah.
And that's something I wanted to... It's something I kind of wanted to bring up here on the show. Yes, not just because it's a big film series that I grew up with and I do enjoy,
and
the fact this new movie's been revealed, but it's the I wanted to bring it up because, again, Emilio, he's a big film guy. It's the animation debate I kind of wanted to talk about a little bit too, not just Shrek 5, because the original style that they went for like the original 3D aesthetic, a lot of people have been a fan of since the early 2000s. It has 4 movies in this style. But then it's going for like this new DreamWorks kind of cartoony style that I think it looks decent from the trailer, but it kind of goes into the whole, is it just nostalgia bait that people are banking on? They're just so used to the original movies because of how good they were? Or is this new style actually good and people are just complaining to complain?
I mean,
it does open up a floodgate of discussion.
Everybody get ready. I'm about to spit some facts for you guys to repeat and humiliate your family members.
Get ready for the report button, guys. That's probably what's going to happen now.
If you complain about the animation style, first of all, you are wrong. Here's why. It
Oh,
is technically not a style. The problem why it looks different is because the technology of the animation, ever since Shrek came out, even including the all of the sequels, has evolved greatly. So
it has.
the
Yes,
older models
I
that they
agree.
used for those movies are not compatible with the current animation technology. So that's why they look different, because back then computers could not fully animate a lot of the facial features that humans have. That's why
Emilio, are you
it
reading off
looks
a
very
prompter?
weird.
Why does this sound so meticulous? What you're saying right now?
Because I
Is
have
there
to
someone
be
coaching you in your
incredibly
response
I have to be
from
incredibly
DreamWorks?
clear, because a lot of people are very stupid. So yeah, that is why
I
the
thought.
animation looks different. It is not a style change. It's just the technology we have now. It's much better.
Okay.
And the greatest example people are throwing around is Puss in Boots, for example. That is a
Actually, that was a
character.
good movie too,
That
in
is a
animation style.
character that has a lot of animation changes, because when Shrek 2 came out, as opposed to what we have now, the technology just simply could not, animate all of the hairs on the cat, right? So they had to improvise. They had to make it look a bit chunkier, a lot less detailed, which is the difference with today, where we can do that.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's not an animation style change as much as it is just the technology is a
an
lot
advancement
better.
in technology kind of thing.
Yes, sir. But
I
yeah,
I was gonna say I do agree with Emilio and his stance on it. My personal opinion, as far as the Shrek 5 footage goes, the original Shrek, and I'm not one for debating or reviewing animated
also it's
movies in this
just
case,
20
but
seconds. Like,
I was gonna say it's only 20 seconds of footage, guys. This is a
that's
promo
almost
trailer.
as
The
long
movie's
as
not coming out
sex,
for a
guys.
while. Yeah, I know, but first of all, you can't judge it too much. It's 20 seconds of a trailer that you barely see any actual footage from the movie. A lot of it's just random still images of a social media account. But
That probably
in all
won't even be
honesty,
in the movie.
I don't think it's a bad style. I think it's just different. The original Shrek movies I grew up with a lot. Shrek 2 I probably watched 20 times when I was a kid, and I really enjoyed it. So I got to know and enjoy that early animation style from DreamWorks because for those of you who didn't know, DreamWorks was started up by a lot of ex-Disney employees who started up a rival animation company in order to rival Disney. It was originally done out of spite, yes, but they've proven their skill because Shrek has become one of their highest grossing franchises of all time, and it's also extremely popular. So the fact of the matter is, when you have a lot of talented people working on it back in the day, the advancement in 3D tech, the animations, character models, and action scenes and all that, it's come a long way. Shrek 5 is an advancement of that same tech, like what Emilio talked about, because the original movies still do look good. It's not bad, it's just different. They're going for a different art style or animation, whatever. I still think it looks good for what it is, but it is still too early to judge regardless. And for the Puss in Boots comparison that Emilio made, I really enjoyed Puss in Boots. I genuinely thought that it was a very good movie from DreamWorks. The animation in that movie was also very good. It was more realistic in some ways, more flashy action scenes. So it clearly shows DreamWorks have advanced their technology for their movies. The bottom line is Shrek 5, with all these facts in mind, does not look bad. It is different, and we will have to see more and more as time goes on before the movie comes out to see how it truly looks. I just think it's a different style that's still just pretty good, all things considered. So it's not really up for debate, guys. There's no point in trashing the movie this early because that video has been review bombed very badly.
By today's standards, the first and second Shrek movies, I really don't remember Shrek the Third or Shrek 4, because
They
those really
weren't worth
suck.
watching. The third movie wasn't very good. The fourth one was kind of middle of the road.
But
And
computer animated graphics back then were pretty shit. Like,
depending on
honestly,
the
like
movie,
I by today's, like, they pass. If you saw it on in the internet, you'd be like, "Oh, this is pretty cool." But if you asked a animation studio in Hollywood currently to produce a animated movie and they delivered something that looked like the original Shrek, you would be like, yo, where the fuck is my money? You know, I paid. Like, this
I need a
does not
refund
look
immediately.
like what I paid for. But it is my reason, where I'm getting at with this is that I think the decline of 3D animation movies, specifically with Pixar, is that back then they had to be a lot more creative, and also a lot of the storytelling had to carry most of the movie because, well, simply the computer power back then could not produce the level of graphics that we can now. So, like, for example, if you see, Toy Story, that's why they're toys, because for a computer back then to generate, like, textures that didn't look like plastic, it would be impossible. That's why the dog looks so fucking ugly. That's why Andy has, like, 3 scenes, because the computers could just not do
Because
it.
he doesn't look that great. I mean, the original Toy Story, for the advancement in tech, yeah, there's a lot of parts of the movie that look very muddled. But when it comes to the animation of the toys and some of the scenes, like the rocket car where they're zooming toward the family van near the end, some of these scenes still hold up because they were trying to go for a specific demographic, like the toys being lifelike in a way, made of plastic, leather, moving for their proportions, that kind of thing. Whereas some of the 3D models, like the dog, yeah, it looks like shit. And the
I
human
mean,
characters,
I
like
think,
Andy and Sid, don't look the best either.
I think it was more so to try
But
and make it look, because the thing with animation, especially with traditional animation, is that it's quite timeless. And I think when they made
yeah,
the Shrek movie, the original Toy Story, they were looking for that, where it would still look cartoony, right? Because
yeah,
it
they
didn't look
retain that
great.
style,
And
I
that's
would
why,
say.
for example, these new live action Disney remakes aren't going to age great, because the technology
No,
is going to improve. Obviously, a lot of the computer animated graphics don't look great because a lot of these
no,
animators have a time crunch, right? Where they have to animate
yeah,
a shit
multiple
ton
projects.
in a very short time. And we've seen that, like, for example, with Marvel, the computer graphics look awful. And that's because
Yeah,
a lot of
awful
these
in
artists
comparison to a
have
lot of the
to
other earlier movies.
work on like 5 projects at the same time, and they have less
Yep.
time.
So there are deadlines trying to pump out as many movies and shows as possible, and the final products
Yeah.
suffer as a result.
And when
And
we
it all just
want to
looks
look back
terrible.
at these, they're not going to hold up the same way that Shrek or
No,
Toy Story do.
not really. I mean, for like the Disney example, compare the original Lion King and then the remake that came out in like 2019. The original animated movie from the 90s, that looks really good. The computer generated animation, the movie just looks fantastic.
Boing,
It's a
boing,
good
boing,
movie
boing,
in
boing,
general.
boing.
But the live action movie with the computer animated graphics trying to make all the animals look realistic, and then these live action scenes while filming in Africa on location makes it look more realistic.
I don't think
But then
they
that
filmed in
realism,
Africa.
I don't know if they may have actually for that
That
movie.
seems like an incredible waste of money if they did.
Some film studios, believe it or not, will try and go the extra mile by filming on location. When you have the live action compared to the animation still holds up extremely well. But the live action, due to time crunch, 3D models trying to replicate realism, just doesn't hold up that well. And I honestly just don't see the point in remaking a lot of these animated Disney movies in general, to be honest. They're classic for a reason, like Shrek, you know. But advancement will still happen for a lot of these movies. Let's go back to the original Toy Story, for example. We talked about before about a lot of these human character models not holding up. Now, for instance, though, if you were trying to make a live-action Toy Story movie, we already know how bad some of those characters would actually look. For example, you take the character of Sid. Some dumbass went to a Halloween party last year and looked absolutely terrible as a live-action Sid. So I think we can agree that some movies should
Kind
just
of
stay
mean, but
animated.
okay.
I think it's true, though. There's a podcast episode we took the guy's photo without permission for the thumbnail. So it looks really bad.
Misinformation, obstruction of privacy. Dude, you're a liability.
It's on a public podcast.
You're a liability,
On
man. Liability. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Shrek 5. I mean, the Shrek
Same.
5 teaser because like the movie is not even out. So we have to wait. And then we will give our 2 cents. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I don't know if it's gonna suck. I don't know if it's gonna be a good freaking movie. Just because like basically everything has a sequel now. It's getting so annoying. Like they're making a Toy Story 5 as well.
When they should have really ended it off after the third one.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, I like Toy Story 4, but like it should have ended in 3. I think you guys should just
make a movie of us. Any film studio out there who wants to make a top pod movie,
you guys should just
call us.
Subscribe to this channel, like, share, comment, and tell us what you guys think about the Shrek 5 trailer.
Yeah.
Also follow us on all of our social media at TOPP.pod on Instagram, TikTok, and that's it.
That's it. There's no other socials that we have that we want to share with you guys. But thank you guys for checking out this awesome episode. Once again, let us know your thoughts on Shrek 5 and the nature of animation and advancement in film. In the comments section down below. Check out all our stuff, and thanks for tuning to another awesome episode of the Top Pod. We'll have some more awesome episodes for you guys as time goes on. Hopefully this podcast ages better than what Shrek 5 apparently has in its animation. But only time will tell. But thanks for watching, guys.
Goodbye.
See you guys.